Dinosaurs, insects, bats and birds all developed powered flight. This presents us with some of the most intriguing questions. How did these creatures come to take to the air? Why did they begin to fly? And when did this all happen? In this documentary, we will look at the most dominant flying creatures today, birds. But to understand how these creatures came to take to the air, we must first take a step back in time and go walking with dinosaurs. Feathers. Dinosaurs with feathers. A controversial theory. It was Thomas Huxley who first proposed the idea that birds were close relatives to and descended from dinosaurs. If we take a look at what is needed for dinosaurs to evolve into modern day birds, we realise that some morphological evolutionary adaptations would have needed to have taken place in dinosaurs. These include feathers, hollow bones and wings. The first to develop were feathers. But an interesting thought is that in the beginning, feathers did not develop for the sole purpose of flight, and that flight itself may have been a byproduct of the development of feathers. One creature that is thought to fit this model is Archaeopteryx, most likely a bird to be. Archaeopteryx is the oldest known fossil bird that was found in the Upper Jurassic in the Tithonian, approximately 150 million years ago. It had wings and feathers like a bird, but solid bones, teeth and claws like a dinosaur.
The arboreal or trees down theory suggests that ancestral birds adapted to fly by jumping out of trees. It was thought that the creatures would jump from branch to branch, gliding through the air by extending their forearms.
In recent decades, this theory has been thrusted into the spotlight due to its increasing supporting evidence from the discoveries in China in the early 2000s of feathered dinosaurs from the early Cretaceous period. One of these feathered dinosaurs was known as Microraptor. Their body plan is favoured for the arboreal theory, as it is believed they could climb and glide. Microraptors were small feathered dino birds with 4 wing-like structures, one set on their forelimbs and one on their hind limbs. They also had a set of claws on their forelimbs to aid them in climbing. They used their 2 sets of wing-like structures in order to glide from branch to branch, similarly to flying squirrels today. Microraptor developed a wing which was curved on the top and straight on the bottom. This made them efficient gliders. They had 12 manus and 14 pedal primary feathers, which were long and asymmetric. These were thought to have been specialized for flying. This created aerodynamic force for lift. Also, it was thought they were capable of swooping down from the trees to catch fish. Even though with these new discoveries of Microraptor in China recently, there has been papers published contradicting and dismissing the arboreal theory. Ishlik in 2001 showed that Dinocycus, an immediate sister group to birds, had a forelimb motion that was considerably restricted and would have made it difficult to climb. The flapping scenario was dismissed by Padden in 1994 as the feathers on the wings and tail would increase drag.
Having discussed the arboreal theory, we must now look at the second competitive theory, the ground-up scenario.
This alternative idea, the cursorial theory or the ground-up theory, suggests that the creature had a running start and then leapt into flight. It visualises a primitive bipedal creature that developed flight by running, jumping and flapping away from predators, or running, jumping and flapping after prey such as insects.
This creature would have had to evolve in stages that incorporated changes to its bipedal running and in turn develop the ability to leap up from the ground. Another change which occurred was the development of proto-wings, which evolved from the forelimbs. This allowed for the increased control of running and leaping. Subsequently, the aerofoil function of the proto-wings developed further to allow extended jumps, and eventually self-powered flight evolved. One creature that is theorized to fit this model is Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx could probably fly clumsily by using its wings as a primary thrust generator while running. Lack of fusion and rigidity in the critical region of the pelvis, sacrum, tibiotarsus and tarsometatarsus indicates that it was not as specialized for running like modern ground birds.
Small theropod dinosaurs modified and specialized their bodies to fly. This was helped by an earlier evolutionary adaptation of producing feathers. It could be said that flight was a byproduct of the development of these feathers.
The push for these land-born creatures to adapt to the skies is still an ongoing controversial debate. Was it that these non-avian dinosaurs were trying to catch prey like small bugs and insects in the air, or were they themselves the prey and were trying to escape a much larger predator? Or was it a combination of the two? This may never be fully known, but what we do know is that their ancestors rule the skies today.
This was helped by an earlier evolutionary adaptation of producing feathers. It could be said that feathers were
The arboreal theory, or trees down hypothesis, suggests that ancestral birds adapted to fly by jumping out of trees.
That was really good though.
Just smack the trees.
This alternative idea, the cursorial theory, suggests that the bird had... I forgot to say ground up. Sorry.